C'est la nouvelle new dance. Hey. C'est la nouvelle new dance. Hey. Let me bend show me we so we mais toi il faut bend sexy girl, yeah, on va bend lady bouger comme c'est là, on va we come on baby, c'est moi daddy sugar, lovely baby, c'est mon way là, mano we
Je connais tes ennuis, tes soucis, tes faiblesses, tes problèmes. Je connais des problèmes d'ici et là-bas et partout c'est les mêmes. Allez, allez, oui, allez, allez, oui, oui, allez, oui, hey, sexy, oui,
mano we
Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to another session of our bi-weekly I Am Cameroon show. It's always a pleasure, always delightful for us to be here to spend moments where we share, we learn, and we grow together, all with the goal of inspiring, educating, and engaging Cameroonians to accept and assume responsibility for the development of Cameroon. My name is Ari Obenson. It's a great pleasure for me to be here today, and I'm going to introduce to you our moderator for today. So join me in welcoming Mamour Jeme for the conversation. Mamour, how are you?
Good morning, Ari. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the I Am Cameroon show today, this 25th of February, 2013. And as Ari said, I'm going to be the moderator for this session. My name is Mamour Jeme. It is a pleasure to have you here on our fortnightly program. And we look forward to having interactive conversations with our guests, as we usually do. And we're still going to be talking about the cleanup campaign I Am Cameroon is organizing on the 16th of September, 2023 in commemoration of World Cleanup Day. And today we have three very important and critical guests to our conversation. We're going to be introducing our guests shortly. But before we kick off, let me just say happy 2023 again. This is the year we've been waiting for. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We're going to take this conversation forward. We're going to make sure that we have everybody participate as much as they can. If you do have any questions, please put them in the Q&A section or raise your hand and we'll be able to call you up to intervene. Before we start, let's first of all just learn a little bit about what I Am Cameroon does.
We're going to have a short video played at this time. Yeah.
It is said that the journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. With a vision for every Cameroonian to take ownership of the future of Cameroon, we embarked on a mission to inspire, educate, and engage Cameroonians to accept and assume responsibility for the development of the nation. As the world was plagued with the COVID-19 pandemic, We came together to play our part as Cameroonians in the diaspora to raise funds, to procure personal protective equipment to protect the lives of Cameroonians. Raising nearly $50,000, we provided gloves, masks, and gowns to hospitals from Buea to Ngaoundéré, Bamenda to Douala, Kumba to Yaoundé. We built a partnership with the Japanese company Saraya to provide hand sanitizers valued at $250,000, and it's still being distributed across the country in partnership with the Cameroon Baptist Convention Health Services and several other partners. We inspired the diaspora, and we saved and continue to save lives in Cameroon. Then we realized that there was more help needed in Cameroon post-COVID world. We embarked on staying engaged with Cameroon as we brought together and showcased the work of young people, bringing entrepreneurs from all walks and progressive sectors of life who, despite the odds, were doing their best to operate businesses in Cameroon. We shared their stories, connected them to resources, and inspired many more along the way. On our journey, we have no doubt touched hearts and transformed lives. But our journey is only beginning. We have learned so much on this journey, which has inspired our strategic plan and our goal to engage 5 million Cameroonians in the next 5 years. We will build a movement that we hope will accelerate the transformation of Cameroon, creating opportunities for our people to dream and attain their God-given potentials.
So what will you change, Cameroonians? We are here to make sure that we are the change. We are the change that we seek. We make the things happen that we want to see done. And at this juncture, I'm just going to introduce our president, or the president of I Am Cameroon, Ariel Benson, to tell us a little bit more about this audacious campaign we are embarking on to mobilize 5 million Cameroonians to clean up Cameroon in a day. Ariel, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you very much, Pamela. Like you heard in the video, our big, hairy, audacious goal is really to mobilize at least 5 million Cameroonians to be involved in doing something. And here we have something concrete that we want 5 million Cameroonians to be mobilized on September 16, which is World Cleanup Day. So I'm going to run through some slides of the presentation now. The big idea is that we're calling it 5 million strong 237 cleanup, with 237 being the code, telephone code for Cameroon. So in celebration of World Cleanup Day, we want to mobilize 5 million Cameroonians at home and abroad to be participate in this movement. We really believe that a cleaner Cameroon is possible. The status quo is unacceptable. So our campaign is mobilizing people to be part of the solution. And we are doing this in collaboration, and says it's not only Cameroon, but we're joining this movement of the organization called Let's Do It World to be part of this World Cleanup Day with people in 147 countries across the world. We actually want to mobilize the largest number of people in one day. So Cameroon is going to take this World Cup. As we say in Cameroon, we'll take the cup. So, and how are we going to do it? Perry, if we can go on to the next slide. Okay, so the problem has been identified. For those who have been to Cameroon recently, those who have traveled the breadth of the country, waste is all over the place, and it's only piling and accumulating, and it's creating a lot of problems, environmental problems. We're seeing floods. It's affecting the quality of life. It's getting into the food, into the fish that we eat. It's affecting agricultural production. So that's a problem. So what's the solution? Of course, the solution is is that we, the people, citizens of Cameroon, need to play their part in cleaning up the environment. But the only way that we can do it in such a way that we have a change in behavior is to have massive impact. We're coming out, everybody in cities and villages across the country, from Campo to Sabongari. We have people coming out. The actors are each one of us, and we use the quote here saying, if we've been waiting for 40 years that somebody would clean it, the people who clean it are here. We are the ones who have been waiting for. So we're asking everybody to participate. We're engaging the civil society, individuals, organizations. We're going to engage businesses. We're going to also reach out to government to play their part in this process. So everybody is invited. This is not about any one organization taking ownership of this process. It's all of us participating in the process. And then five steps that we're going to take to achieve our goal. First one is engaging people. That's what we're doing now. It's reaching out to as many people as possible so that we go on this journey together, right? So we begin with the engagement phase. Then next we're going to mobilize, and that mobilization will be those actors that we mentioned that we're going to bring together. Then we educate people on what's going to happen, why it's important for us to do this, how this affects the environment. That education is important. What are some of the techniques and tools and skills that we're going to use to be able to do it? Then we go into the implementation phase, just executing. But we also think about how we sustain this so that we don't just do it and forget about it, but in our planning, we're going to also be planning, how do we sustain this movement, this new habits and all of that? So these are the 5 steps that we're working on. And now this is the engagement phase. So thank you for being here and being part of the engagement. The obvious outcomes is that we want to put in place sustainable waste management systems in our communities. We would develop those, we'll educate ourselves, we'll learn, we'll be inspired by experts. Our goal is to reduce bulk waste by 90%. That's a big, tall order, but we've got to do it. And we would educate people, we'll promote the 3 R's, so reduce, reuse, recycle. Would introduce business opportunities. Hopefully we have businesses that will come out of this that will help us to sustain the movement. And hopefully this also creates employment for our people. These are some outcomes that we have in mind. And I just really want to end with some powerful quotes here. Walt Disney is the one who, everybody has heard about Disney World, but he is somebody who dreamed of something and made it happen. First, and he said, first think, second believe, third dream, and finally dare. We have been thinking, yes, for 40, 50, 60 years, we've been thinking. We need to believe in ourselves. This dream that we have may sound big, but the only way that we'll know whether we can do it or not is to dare. So hopefully we're going to dare. But I also want to end with a quote from Mandela, who said, what counts in life is not the mere fact that we have lived. It is what difference we have made to the lives of others that will determine the significance of the life we lead. This is our call. For too long, we have focused on what's in it for me. We focused on ourselves. But really the essence of living is making an impact on our neighbors. And so this is an opportunity for us to think beyond ourselves, because invariably what you do for others is going to come back and do for you as well. So that's the idea, that's the big idea. We're going to be working on developing the implementation. We're going to go on to the phase, and we're not alone on this journey. We're going to have people who have been on this journey, who have experienced this, who will be sharing with us, and we have some experts that are joining us today. So it's going to be, do not feel that we are alone on this journey. There's so much to share in terms of experience. There's so much to learn. So let's do this together.
Absolutely, Ari. We can do this, and we are doing this. Come what may, we are going to be engaged. We are going to make sure that we do what is necessary to keep Cameroon clean. And as Ari said, we'll be listening to some experts. We cannot reinvent the wheel. Let's hear from those who have done this and who've been on this journey, how they went about it, and how they can actually pave the way for us to mobilize those 5 million Cameroonians to clean up Cameroon. So our guests for today are going to be Ms. Heidi Zolba, who is the president of Let's Do It World. We'll be hearing from her in a video recording shortly. We'll be also hearing from Mr. Carlos Serra, who's in Mozambique and who mobilized 4% of the population of Mozambique to clean up Mozambique. We'll also be hearing from Gafar Odubote, who is also a JCI member and somebody who works with Let's Do It World to help sustainable cleanup management systems. We'll hear from Honorable Eto Anza, who is a youth delegate in Bamenda, who's going to identify some of the problems we have, and we'll listen to the experts on how we can go about this. Let's just kick off by listening a little bit to the president of Let's Do It World, Ms. Heidi Zolba.
Hello, I'm really honored to be here, and I want to express my huge gratitude to you, all the people from Cameroon and elsewhere who are really interested to clean up the Cameroon and engage 5 million people to the next World Cleanup Day. Thank you for your sincere and big hearts to work on this cause. Also, thank you, Ari Robinson, to leading this conversation, to asking this video, and also bringing all these people together. The reason why I'm recording it, the video, is that I'm currently cannot be part because I'm a really well-deserved vacation after 8 years working with Let's Do It World. But I will be on your future meetings, definitely. But here are my best greetings, and I'm really hoping that we are doing really big work together, and which will be the most successful gathering in the history. Thank you so much.
So we just heard from Ms. Zolba. The aim here for I Am Cameroon is to mobilize the largest group of people in the world, in any country, to clean up that country. So we're going to engage Mr. Carlos Serra from Mozambique in just a minute, who is going to tell us how he did in mobilizing the population of Mozambique to help clean up the country. Carlos, welcome to the program.
Hey. Good evening.
Good evening, Carlos.
It's a pleasure to be with you. I already been in Cameroon, actually, 10 years ago. I was there. I visited 3 different cities, and in my point of view, the wonderful experience was in the middle of a tropical forest, actually. So, about Mozambique, what can I share with you? I work with environmental issues since 2000. Actually, we had a very strong and bad floods that year. And I remember when I started my career, I saw the impacts, I saw the devastation, I saw so many bad things that I understood the decision I took in terms of curse, in terms of I don't know, destination, in terms of work was good, was the correct. At the beginning, I was a training. I also lecture in our university, but after 5 years, I remember that I was doing few things. I needed to do more as activist, actually. I didn't create any NGO at that time, but I joined other NGOs, do you know? And I did it for several years. But I also discovered that we were all working with very, what can I say, very complex issues. how can we fight against, for example, a dam? The government wants to build a dam in the middle of a forest, in the middle of a beautiful landscape with some local communities there. How can we fight against something like that, so complex? How can we fight against traffic in terms of, for example, wildlife? It's very different because organized crime is there, corruption is there. So we need to start with easy things to do. And education, in my point of view, is the key, is the strong weapon we have at this moment. So I decided just leave those organizations and create another one. I invite 6 more people and create another one with the mission of contribute for environmental education of our people. And that was our choice, do you know? But we started with very simple things, like, why not? Let's organize a tree plantation. Let's go to a school and talk with the children there, the students there. Let's organize a cleanup also. But we also understand, and I listened my friend for Cameroons about your experience with waste, and it's the same in Mozambique, you know, it's the same. The trash is everywhere, you know. We have serious problems, and okay, we are very good in terms of cleaning in the World Cleanup Day, but at this moment, I'm talking with you, at this moment, we have basic problems. We're still having basic problems. With some exceptions, some mayors are really working. I know 2 or 3 very nice cases, but the majority of the cities and villages face a very serious problem in terms of waste management. So we decided to organize a first cleanup and contribute to that cleanup for put the waste in the middle of our attention. Let's wake up people, and let's wake up our government. Let's wake up our local authorities. And we start doing this using the actually Facebook. Do you know, our first social media was Facebook, and we organized like an event. Let's clean the beach in Maputo. Let's organize the hugest clean ever made at our past. Let's do our #1 cleanup. And I don't know, I remember because that happens in 2015, do you know, 2015, the Earth Day. So we prepared that action with time. We spent about 3 months in terms of organization, 3 months, and it was a success. Do you know, 8 kilometers, more than 10 trucks full of glass and plastic, organic.
Let's give Carlos a quick minute. It looks like he froze there.
Okay.
It looks like, yeah, it looks like Carlos is glitching a little bit.
And from the municipalities. We didn't.
Oh, I think Carlos's call just dropped.
He's back.
Yes.
He's back. Okay, go ahead, Carlos. Sorry, we lost you there for a minute.
Sorry. Okay, just and so the first cleanup was a success. We had a lot of students from different universities as a volunteers. We had a lot of kids coming from the schools. We have also youth present on that first cleanup. So after that, our team just decided, still going on, let's do more cleanups. Let's do more actions like this. And we also have a lot of people contacting us saying, I would like to join your movement. I would like also to organize a cleanup in our province, in our city, in our village. So we decided also to create a network, a movement actually. We represent the movement, but we are open, and each organization, each group of friends, each community can be part of that movement. It's not a closed movement, you know. And 2 years after that first cleanup, everybody knows us, do you know? Everybody, that's, we clean, everybody knows Carochel at that time, everybody knows our team. Each member of our team now becomes a little famous, and they start to respect us. We didn't have funds that time, do you know? But we have some support coming from private companies, for example, for t-shirts and from some materials and so on. So for us, it was so important because the movement becomes national. And we also organized the Environmental Day, not precisely the World Cleanup Day. In 2017, Heidi Sober contacted me and said, I heard about you. I know you are doing work there in Mozambique. Do you want to join Let's Do It World? I said, hey, of course. And I joined the World Cleanup Day. We decided to use Let's Do It Mozambique. So our movement, it was actually very easy. Our movement becomes part of the World Cleanup Day, of course, but we decided to use the name of Let's Do It Mozambique. And my organization actually is a cooperative, host the movement, not host the Let's Do It Mozambique. So our first action as a member of this global movement was in 2017, and we had about 1,200 volunteers. After that, we decided to organize, because I also, at the end of the year and the beginning of 2018, I participate in two important events, a Leaders Academy in Cape Town, and also the conference, my first conference in Estonia, Tallinn. And I learned a lot with those guys. Do you know, there are a lot of crazy people in every world, you know, about this issue. I thought we are alone, but no, we are not alone, man. Yeah. You cannot imagine how funny and splendid, incredible people we have in all countries. So that's important. We have actually at this moment a very strong platform at the global levels. So we decided to organize a very good World Cleanup Day in 2018, and we used all the social media and television. We invite a lot of people in the province. Do you want to be part of this moment? Can we invite you to mobilize other people? Can you be part as a leader, a local leader, and so on? It was good. Sorry, in English, let me think. 100,000 people, 100,000 people in 2018 participate in our World Cleanup Day. Okay, in 2019 we have three more in terms of numbers, right? About 300,000 people. So the movement increased, do you know? After that, we had the pandemic years, 2020 and 2021. And then at the beginning of 2022, that's what I want to share with you. We have a seat as a group, as an organization, and we decided to write a different strategy for the events. Okay, the COVID just ends. Let's do a better thing. Let's do a better event. How can we do this?
It looks like Carlos froze again. We'll come back to Carlos. We'll come back to Carlos in just a minute when his video kicks back in. For now, we've heard what Carlos has been telling us. We know he just emphasized how important education is, sensitization is, sustainability is, and we're trying to learn from his experience. We're also trying to hear from other experts, and at this point, we're going to hear from Mr. Gafar Odubote, who is the coordinator for Africa for Let's Do It World. Mr. Odubote is a social entrepreneur. He has designed, planned, and executed various environmental projects, such as cleanup campaigns, and engaged different stakeholders. Mr. Odubote, the floor is yours.
Yeah, hi, Andy. Are we meeting today? Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Odubote, you can come in. Okay, just before we get Mr. Odubote on the call, can we at this juncture just play another video from Miss Heidi Zolba? Mr. Odubote, will come to you after this video.
The movement started actually from Estonia in 2008. Then it grew really big and successful organization. We started to establish the network, as I said, for the World Cleanup Day, what we hold in 2018. And then the organization came by network really strong and had an idea that we have to continue with the World Cleanup Days, and therefore we established a new organization, or actually restructured to the Let's Do It World, which is governed by the network itself. So our organization is Let's Do It World with the same network who have done World Cleanup Day. And now we last year made a World Cleanup Day already our fifth time. With 5 World Cleanup Days, we have engaged 71 million people, and last year we engaged from 190 countries. The organization is also working with multiple different kind of organizations or institutions, and also governments worldwide level. We are also part of advisory board of United Nations Habitat. We are members of UNEP. We have, for example, in Africa, one really big organization to work with is African Olympic Committee, which is ACNUA, which is in each country in Africa, but also in Cameroon. And what has been the success of the World Cleanup Day? I'm absolutely sure that the World Cleanup Day is working as a catalyzer of the humans. It's catalyzing the change in society. It's catalyzing the people by simply being aware what is a waste, what is an environment, and taking care about everything that is surrounding of them. But also, we are looking for the World Cleanup Day, not just raising the awareness and changing the behavior in society, but also we do know and have been witnessed that if we have critical mass of the people, it's boosting the change in society. It's sustaining the change in society because it's bringing together different kind of stakeholders. And this is really important because otherwise we can clean up forever and we do not have any change there. And it's something which is demoralizing. Our leaders are getting tired and teams getting tired if there is a cleanup and next day is again waste what to pick up. So we have to bring 5% out of their national population in order to have enough media attention, enough different kind of partners from different kind of sectors, so we can catalyze a cross-sectoral cooperation, and to think along how we in Let's Do It World, but also in different kind of organizations, can collaborate, can support each other to not just to clean up, but also how to sustain the change and also keep it clean, what we have been collected and what we have cleaned up. So I wanted to share some first thoughts and also to talk about the Let's Do It One World Cleanup Day really shortly. Thank you for listening. And I'm really hoping to be present in next meetings. And I'm really, really happy and really excited that we are going forward on this journey. So see you next time, and thank you so much, and have a lot of success. Thank you, Ari. Thank you, Carlos. Thank you, Maimouna, and all nice Cameroonian people here.
So we just heard from Ms. Heidi Zoba, who is the president of Let's Do It World. And now we're going to hear from Mr. Gaffar Dubote, who is the coordinator for Africa for Let's Do It World. Welcome, Mr. Dubote.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Jemmy. I really appreciate it. I hope you can hear me loud and clear.
We can.
All right, thank you very much. And I'm so glad to be among you this evening, sitting right here in Nigeria. And I acknowledge the convener of this, cleanup exercise in Cameroon. I am Cameroon, Ariel Benson. That was a very, very good step forward. And I also acknowledge, some of our Let's Do It leaders on call. Carlos, I see you, Mimunat, I can see you on call. So ladies and gentlemen, let me just go straight to really share some of the best practices that, you need to learn, you need to know, when organizing cleanup. So over the years, I've been organizing cleanup and just in Nigeria, and just some couple of years ago, I was appointed by the Let's Do It World to be the coordinator for Africa, whereby we're mobilizing massive cleanups across Africa. And you've listened to my president, Ms. Soba, discussing about the network. It's a very, very big network. And we are also the convener of the World Cleanup Day that happens annually. And I'm glad to let you know that World Cleanup Day is one of the biggest civic, action in a single day all over the world that is uniting millions of people globally. And when I was listening, when Ariel Benson was introducing the topic and saying that you want to mobilize millions of people, in Cameroon, I was saying that would be so huge and well pronounced because over the years, World Cleanup Day has really gathered support, from global organizations across the world, right from the United Nations to even head of states. I could remember 2 years ago, I was, I did a joint press release with ECOWAS and the African Union on World Cleanup Day. So the African Union released a press statement, which I also, was part of the press statement, inviting all the head of states to participate in World Cleanup Day, because we believe that, in Africa, it's very, very important for us to see how we can manage our mismanaged waste. And thank God we have, we started having best practices in Rwanda. Okay, I don't know if it's possible for me to quickly share a slide, so I can just quickly show you some of the practical ways for you to, organize and clean up. It's very, very important that as we're trying to assemble a team that will be going into this, it's very, very important that, we try to see what we need to do in order to make sure we get it right. Now, as we all know that, World Cleanup Day, we have leaders across Africa, and these leaders across Africa will provide them with some resources. For example, just last month, we just had our World Cleanup Let's Do It conference in Estonia, whereby leaders across Africa and across the world, they were educated and trained on the best practices on waste management. So now let me just share a quick fact with you while you're trying to enable my screen sharing. It's not news that we know that the world generates over 2.01 billion tons of municipal solid waste annually. And you all know that without urgent action, global waste will definitely increase by 70% on current level by 2050. That's a statement by the World Bank. And also, I know you're familiar with this fact also, that 3.5 billion people in the world do not have access to waste management systems, and this waste is incinerated or ended up in the nature. the seas and the ocean, even through rivers, and which is also very peculiar in Africa. You know, we see a lot of landfill everywhere, and those landfill are definitely not treated. And also in some local community, you see incinerators, you know, being erected everywhere. And those incinerators, you know, that's where most people, the village, local people, you know, gets their waste turned up into, and it's, you know, it's also released some carbon monoxide, deadly substance into the atmosphere, which is also dangerous. Then also 1.6 billion tons of carbon dioxide equivalents of greenhouse gas emission were generated from solid waste in 2016. We all know that, say, if we don't manage our waste very well, you know, aside from the aesthetic disadvantages, you know, we have tons of CO2, GHG, greenhouse gas, that is so deadly to human being that, you know, when consumed, you know, above some certain level, it tries to clog your blood, and, you know, even reduces the lifespan of human beings, even animals themselves. And also, you're all aware also that the Global Waste Management estimate that hundreds of millions of tons of illegal waste end up in nature, which definitely, you know, as population grows, if, for example, what we witness in Africa, you know, is that our population keep growing without us planning adequate resources to manage the waste we generate. So people keep growing and we keep generating waste. And as much as possible, these waste keep ending up in the environment. Now, every year, approximately 14 million tons of plastic leak into ocean, which we all know that, you know, the ocean is like the final point of most of our waste. Everything we consume now is made of plastics. And sometimes you see the documentary of some fishes that, you know, they're being clogged by plastic or strangled by plastic wire, or, you know, for example, they cut open a fish and you see some plastic material in those fishes. You know, what I'm trying to share with you is that, so doing cleanup is a good thing, because it's not just, we're not just reading an environment of mismanaged waste. We're also trying to pass a message that, you know, we can make environments, you know, a better place. And also, you know, like, you know, some part of Europe, you know, cigarette butts is a very, very big waste in Europe right now. You know, there's no way you go around some key countries in Europe and just see cigarette butt. While we are battling with plastic waste in Africa, and they are also battling, you know, with cigarette butts in Europe, which is also trying to like affecting the ecosystem. So in summary, if we're able, which I'm so believing that if I Am Cameroon can be able to mobilize this huge number of people, we're not just cleaning our environment, but we're saving the planet. We're saving the people, we're saving younger people, we're saving the habitats, we're saving the fishes, the animals, we're saving everything that can breathe. And if we can save things that can breathe, that means that it's a very laudable cause. Now, let me just quickly show, you know, with the team, I believe we have the core team on the call right now. Now, if you want to do a cleanup, it's very key. It's very, very important that, you know, you have to do your pre-cleanup assessment, which is very, very important. You just don't wake up and you say you want to clean, but you need to first of all visit the site. You need to do your waste mapping. Now, at Let's Do Your Work, we've been able to digitize some of all these approach. You know, we have an app that we use in doing waste mapping. Whereby, you know, we go to those sites, we use some of these app in collaboration with some of our partners to see what number of waste, you know, are we likely to come across on those sites. You know, by doing this, you know, pre-cleanup exercise, we'll be able to know the sites we're going to clean. We're able to generate data. Now, one of the key things that is affecting us in Africa is data management, ability to, you know, access data. You know, for example, in my office as the network coordinator for Africa, you know, we're trying to see how we can generate substantial amount of data that will guide us, you know, in trying to know what number of waste we generate in Africa, you know, across the country, for us to say that, see, this is the right approach, the tools and the resources that we need for us to tackle this waste. So there's some data here and there, you know, different organizations coming up with data, but I Am Cameroon can also put part of their focus, you know, in using their cleanup to say that, see, for example, in this municipal, this is the data, the amount of waste we generate per household. So with this pre-cleanup exercise, you'll be able to pick up your site, do an overview, and plan your volunteers management, which is very key. Now, the second aspect is you need to engage stakeholders, which I believe is what we call also part of what we're doing right now. Because for us to achieve sustainable impacts, every key stakeholders of the society needs to be involved. So if, for example, like what we witness in some part of Africa, after working up, the people will say that, after you go cleaning up, maybe a day or 2 days after that place, get littered again, and most of the reason for this is that they don't usually do key stakeholders engagement. Because, for example, also at the last work cleanup day, when we were trying to do a feedback session with some of the country leaders, and I had one of the leaders from southern part of Africa saying that they feel that cleanup is not working, and I asked them that what are the reasons, and they explained their methodology of doing the cleanup. When your methodology is not really accurate, you tend not to get a long-term results. Well, you just get a short-term result, and it's so short. It's not even short-term results; it's immediate results. And what I mean by immediate results, you go to a site, you clean up, the site is clean, but by the time you come the next day, it's all over dirty again. Because you don't really engage the stakeholder. So this is what we propose. If we're going to clean, make sure that you recruit from that community. You make them to be part of it. Don't let them see you as just a mere volunteer coming to clean up their trash. But let them also be part of the people cleaning their trash themselves, because by then they will see the efforts, they will perceive the odor, they will feel the stench, the stench and everything, because they will now talk to themselves that, guys, we need to reduce the number of waste we generate. So the key thing we need to do now, contact stakeholder. Now the stakeholder, which are very key right now, is the people. The people generate waste. I've been at a cleanup site whereby, some market women will tell you that, oh, keep cleaning for us. They will go into their stores, their shops, bring out their waste, dump it in front of us for us to clean up, because they feel that, oh, probably the government is paying us or something. So we need to let them know the reason why we're doing cleanup. They need to be involved. They need to participate. Then we need to talk to the government. We cannot do cleanup without the government. We need the waste management authority, because they'll provide us with resources, with the compactor, with the waste truck, with the backup of the government for us to, do this kind of cleanup, because at the end of the day, you want to optimize the resources at your disposal. You just don't want to do cleanup and try to stress your monitoring resources or trying to do it at your own pocket, but let the government be involved. And also the private organization needs to be involved. What I mean by private companies, there has to be good companies that has ethical behavior, because some companies that are the major polluter in the environment, and you don't want to associate with those companies because they will just use your brand, to clean up their mess. So you need good companies to collaborate with, companies that, their corporate governance, their publicity, their brand stands for everything sustainable. Then you need other NGOs to collaborate with, just like what we're doing. Not just Let's Do Your Work, but every single NGOs in Cameroon must come together under the umbrella of the I Am Cameroon initiative for us to pull up these millions of cleanup in order to be successful. So stakeholders engagement is very key before the cleanup. Now, the third aspect is communication. Before I was appointed as the African coordinator for Let's Do Your Work, I was part of the marketing team for World Cleanup Day, globally. And part of the thing, because I was appointed then in 2017 and I went for training. And part of the thing we agreed that, no matter how big or small your cleanup will be, you need a PR person. It's very, very key. You need somebody that can coin the right content, the right key messages to market your cleanup, to market that initiative, to talk to people about cleanups, because, for example, in Africa, there are a lot of ways that, let me say government, for example, when government sees that, oh, millions of people are gathering, they will want to infiltrate that gathering because they want to use it to accomplish some of their political objective. They want to use it to accomplish some of their hidden agenda. So if your communication that you are just an initiative for common good, for civic responsibility. The initiative may turn to be another political scenario. So you need to get a good PR person that way, publicize your cleanup initiative with the right key messages through using the social media, all other traditional media channel, and also be able to promote your cleanup in such a way that everybody will see it as a wake-up call, not just, because one of the challenges we face in Africa is that, most volunteers usually ask for money for them to participate in civic responsibility. They always ask you that, hey, what is in it for me? What is in it for us? Because they believe that you must have gotten one big funding from somewhere and you are trying to use it to showcase, activity. So your message must be so clear that let them know that this is a pure civic responsibility. And even though we're having support of funding, it's just to take care of the cleaning tools and not something that we're using to. Okay. So it's very key that I Am Cameroon, gets a PR person appointed with a good portfolio and with the key responsibility of promoting the cleanup, nothing more.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Odubote. You're making some really, really pertinent points here and trying to make us aware that this is a civic responsibility that everybody has to take part in. This is not about what is my take in this or what am I going to get out of it. Now, you see, we've been caught in this Eurocentric way of this rugged individualism where we always think about what is in it for me? What am I benefiting out of this? But let's look at this. We don't have a substitute planet. We have planet Earth, and this is where we are. So we have to take the initiative to clean it up and to take care of our neighbors and ourselves. It's through the cleanup that we'll avoid certain diseases. It's through the cleanup that we'll have cleaner environments and take care of our ecosystem. So it is important that everybody participates, and most crucial of all, you made a point about gatherings and about civic responsibility. It is very important for all of us to understand that this is not a government initiative. This is an initiative from I Am Cameroon, which is an apolitical association or organization trying to make the community better. Let me just let you wrap up, Mr. Odubote. Go ahead.
So I was going to say, if you would not mind sending us the presentation so that we make sure we share it with the audience, because in the interest of time, we still have to take Honorable
Etoanza.
And then we need to open up to the audience. So I'm going to crave the audience's indulgence to give us 15 minutes over the hour. So we'll run 15 minutes over the hour. So Gafar, if you can just wrap up there, but we'll share this. It's just in the interest of time.
All right. Okay. Let me just wrap up under 3 minutes. Okay. So in planning your cleanups, communication is key. Safety is also very, very important. You cannot undermine safety. Your volunteers, they volunteer to, clean up the environment. So you must make sure that you take care of their in every way possible. Then on cleanup kickoff day, you need professional, like my leader from Mozambique mentioned about cleanup. You need to make sure that people are well mobilized, they are well arranged, they are well prepped up. You delegate accordingly across the number of people, because you have millions of people you'll be working with. So you need to have a structure in place, a structure that will be able to take care of the people are in a kind of a mini setting. So for example, you have 10 million people. You should have like a personnel of over maybe 100,000 that you can say that you are assigning maybe 50,000 or 10,000 people to. So if you don't manage the structure very well, the cleanup may not result in the actual impact. So it's very, very key. And then the sixth part is sorting, very key. And even my leaders on this call, we understand that. So it's not about cleanup, but you also need to use it to sort waste appropriately. And when you're sorting waste, there are different waste. We have, mixed waste is what we experience in Africa, but you must be able to sort waste accordingly, because by the time you're cleaning up, you also need to pass a message, and we're also trying to pass a message of effective waste management system. Now, reporting is also very key. By the time you mobilize millions of people, You must be able to ascertain the amount of waste, the mismanaged waste you remove from the environment. So you need to measure, you need to count the bags, you need to know the total number. So you need to educate your volunteers and your personnel working with you way ahead for them to be able to do this, or else there is, just gonna like, oh, we don't really know amount of waste which is there. Must pass the message, not just about sensitize people. So clean up part of your team orientating, educating, which is what just come back again and mess up the whole environment. And after the cleanup goes, make it enjoyable. Let the volunteers feel elated, about what they've done. So that's just it on cleanup. The other part will be I will share that one across, because after cleanup, you need to maintain sustainability and keep it clean, which is very important. I really appreciate this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Mr. Odubote. We're going to hit on those 5 R's and zero waste in our next sessions as we go forward. But thank you, just gave us some really valuable information on how we can go about cleaning or mobilizing 5 million Cameroonians to clean Cameroon in one day in commemoration of World Cleanup Day. Let's Do It Cameroon is going to work hand in hand. Well, Let's Do It is going to work hand in hand with I Am Cameroon to make this dream come true. We are, as Ari said, we crave your indulgence. I would love for us to be a little bit more interactive. Where are the questions? We have the experts here. Ask Mr. Carlos Serra some questions. Ask Mr. Odubote some questions. Now let's go to Honorable Eto Anza, who is a youth delegate in Cameroon, who's going to tell us about the solid waste management problem in Cameroon. Honorable Eto Anza, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone.
We will stop.
Just a second. Yeah, Odubote, just stop screen sharing. Thank you. Thank you. Honorable Eto, the floor is yours. Yes.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. I guess everyone is okay.
We can hear you well.
Okay. Bamenda is safe today, and it's a plus for us. Every day we count a day that goes by without the shootings and everything. We thank God immensely for it. I'm going to be sharing not what is going to be so far from what the other speakers have said, but I just want to bring you to a practical scenario of where we are as waste management is concerned in the northwest region of Cameroon. And most likely I can say with so much certainty that it's the case with the central region, is the case with the littoral regions, and is the case with so many other regions in Cameroon. I don't know if Mr. Ali, do you have the slides? Can you just please share and I continue?
Yeah, we'll share your slides now.
Okay.
Let me just give me a minute.
Okay, that's fine.
All right, let's keep going whilst we try to pull up the slides here.
Just bear with us for a second as Ari is pulling that up. So, Honorable Eto Anza, this is a problem that you have seen increase tenfold in Bamenda, and you're going to give us insight on how grave this problem is and how important it is for all of us to be engaged to mobilize people to make sure that this problem is tackled.
Yeah, sure. I have a practical scenario because we've done surveys in Bamenda 2019, 2020, and the results were almost the same. Then we have connected with persons in the central region who are doing similar surveys. We've connected to persons in the south region. We've connected to persons in the north, in the extreme north regions, in the littoral regions, and we have almost the same answers, the same composition of waste. In our last survey in 2021, we had it that the composition of waste in the Northwest region, we had it that close to half of the waste, that's 46.8% generated in Bamenda, come from residential sources. That's another approximate has that 40% comes from street and commercial sources. And it is important that we also have that the source of waste, in order to make sure that the collection process, that's the next step, can be organized most efficiently. They follow it, we had the following numbers to work with. Food and vegetable waste in the Northwest region accounts to about 70% of the waste. Garden waste accounts to 11%. Plastic accounts to 5%. Others account to about 5%. Paper waste to 4%. Glass and ceramic to 0.25%. Wood to 0.16%. Metals to 0.1%. If we have more of our waste generated in the Northwest region from residential sources, from houses, we have approximate 40% from commercial sources. Then, okay, thank God the slides. So let me just be sharing with you. Yes, that's state of waste dump sites. Let's just go to the first slide first. I'm going to be talking about state of waste dump sites in the Northwest region of Cameroon. And like I earlier said, in a comparative study with different surveys done in about 5 regions in Cameroon, it shows that we are almost around the same composition of the waste that is being littered everywhere and everything. So I was saying that the composition of waste in Cameroon, as at our survey in 2021, has that close to half of the waste, 46.8%, generated in Bamenda, which is the chief town of the Northwest region, comes from residential sources. Another approximate shows that 40% comes from street and commercial sources. And commercial sources here, most especially, we are talking about the market areas. The market areas, as we generate about 7%, there only the market areas we could say generate about 3% of the waste in the Northwest region. Fruit and vegetable waste accounts for about 70% of the waste in the Northwest. Garden waste accounts for 11%. Plastic accounts for 5%. Others account for 5%. Paper products for 4%, glass and ceramic for 0.25%, wood 0.16%, and metal 0.1%. I'm going to be showing you a typical slide of the street in the chief town of the Northwest region. This is around Hospital Runabout, the very first picture. It's about Hospital Runabout. Please, next slide, Mr. Ari. Yeah, we are. This is a waste dump site in the Northwest region. This is Hospital Runabout, just less than a few kilometers to the hospital. It's actually known as the Runabout because you can stand from there, you can see the general hospital that provides health services to about 4 million of the population. And this is it, people live from areas with waste that have been waste from their homes and so on to come and throw it, to actually bring it here. Our next picture is waste that is deposited at around T Junction. T Junction is a locality. It's actually around a very commercial area. So you're going to have more of papers and plastics and so on. Then at that picture, we have the very first one is that of the food market, where almost half of Bamenda buy their foodstuffs from and so on. And this particular area, I should say, has been a very, very serious area to handle when it comes to waste management. The food market alone, we can say, generate about 2% of the 7% of the waste that is being generated from households, from streets, from commercial areas, and so on. The food market alone generates, and we can count in between, just from the start of this year, January till now, about 80 times that the roads are being blocked in the food market because waste has occupied half of the road. You see the first picture, where you see the guy in red, if you zoom closely, where you see the guy in red, you realize that the waste is actually it has taken about 3/4 of the road, and that is how we are living in Bamenda. The next picture, just below that of the food market, is a pictorial view of Tarinkun market. I'm still going to elaborate this in how the municipality, that's the city councils, have approached waste management, and that is it. That has in that particular area, Tarinkun has resulted to open burning. That's burning even when people are carrying out their activities and so on. And there is a very big problem here. Our children have to go to school and learn about pollution, then come back to the community to live, to see that this is the only way they have to do it. They have to burn. They go to class and say that, no, you're not supposed to burn waste. You are supposed to do this. You are supposed to do that. But practically on ground, we could only manage waste. The next area is just around T Junction, below the cathedral space, where we have plastics that have been done. I should say, I could not share all pictures, but we have at least about 17 of such dump sites where people have just decided to come and throw their plastic bottles. The recycling method that is known in Bamenda when it comes to plastics is that if I have to drink some sort of a juice from a container, I intend to use the container for 2 weeks to carry water. Immediately that container begins to lose its value and does not seem so presentable, I have to throw it and buy a new one. And that is all the recycling, which is not, or not in my judgment, any kind of a recycling. Let's look at how the municipality has the municipality's approach to waste management. That means we are talking about how the city councils have approached this issue of waste management. Next slide, please. Okay, the municipalities approach. Councils in the Northwest region basically just burn waste. That's what most practical. And like I said, what we have as survey here is what I can concretely say we have as survey that has been taken in other regions in the country, about four to five of them, that councils in the Northwest around Cameroon basically just burn waste, either by open city burning or specialized site burning. And the picture you are seeing there, that's a very busy day. As a matter of fact, that's a Tuesday in Tarinkun. The Tarinkun locality harbors at least 1.5 million persons and 1 million persons that engage in small buying of foodstuffs and provisions around the Tarinkun market. And that is in front of that's the main door of the market. This waste is being dumped there. And what the city council does is that they do open street burning. That's burning of waste in the exact position where it is found. They just come and burn. And if you burn, it's most likely that you are not going to burn bottles. Yes, the plastics are going to produce, high level of pollution, and it is very dangerous to the children, to the whole population. That's what is being done. The other option that the city council has resorted to, next slide, please, is the open dumping grounds. The city council solely uses an open dumping ground system, which allows the dumping of waste as unsegregated waste, the bottles, the biodegradable waste that's from households, from commercial streets, from offices, and so on. If they manage to carry around, which they do at times at their discretion, we can say at their discretion, because there are times waste piles up for over a month and it's not being disposed. When they manage to dispose, they just go to an area and they throw it them. They started using below Funcha in the Northwest region. It's actually a locality in the Northwest region. Funcha, below Funcha. They started using it, and it seems like it was already at the stage where they had to move. They moved to My 6. The dumping site you are seeing is a typical area of My 6 Mancon, where the city council just carry waste and the dump. That's their deposit site. And here they burn. It's the same kind of let me say it's an advanced or a bigger scale of the burning process they do in the heart of town. And when they do this, we are still left. Obviously, the flame can't contain that deep as compared to if we are removing 7 tons of waste in a month. You cannot afford to go and burn and let it go right down to the crux. So we have a pile. They keep piling. In the next picture, you are going to see how it is growing. And in January, by January 15th, the road leading to Mile 7 Mancon was halfway blocked. It was halfway blocked because the dump site, they had those that were doing the transportation of the waste carrying from the town to come and deposit there. They were throwing it on the road. Persons were coming to add their own waste there and so on. You just go to the next slide. You are going to see the dump site. That's that of the city council. This is where the city council simply just dump waste. And just go to the next one. That's we are seeing, okay, we are seeing now practically the height of the dome site. I guess next week we are talking on Saturday, so where it's not being carried on Saturdays in Babenda. Next week, if they manage to carry on Tuesday, they are just going to add on this one. And that's how they are going to keep adding, keep adding, keep adding. And we are in a very dangerous scenario. I am bringing the very practical scenario to you so that you see what we have on ground, and we are not talking from assumptions and we are saying this is what we want to do this. We are saying that this is what we have on ground. This is what we are supposed to do to solve this particular problem that we've seen on ground. I have a slide here, the great danger. The great danger in the Northwest. I am going to be showing you, just picking a bit to watch the following videos to see where we are as a level of waste management, how it is affecting some of our communities grossly. And I bet you if we are not taking this action like fast as possible, we are going to lose lives. The first slide, the first video, is Ari, are you there?
Honorable Eto Anza, just allow me to come in here for a second, for just one second. Thank you so much for sharing that crucial information with us and showing us how despicable is the word, how unhealthy and unsanitary our environment is. I mean, how ironic is it that we have a dump site just in front of a hospital? I mean, we all have to make sure that we do what is necessary to clean up our streets, to clean up our houses, to educate our people. There are a few questions in the chat, well, not in the chat, in the Q&A section. And I was just going to ask Carlos. Carlos, we lost you there. You were telling us some crucial information about the work that you've done in Mozambique. You were telling us how you mobilized the population with different stakeholders. And before we wrap up, Carlos, I'm just going to ask you one question. We have a few questions from Beatrice Ndefon. And Beatrice wants to know what's the plan when the waste is collected? How do we dispose of that? Beatrice is also asking, or also stating, that September 16th is going to be when schools have resumed. And Beatrice, let me just answer that one. I'll say that that's why we are embarking on this mission. We are trying to educate every single person. We'll be talking to schools, we'll be talking to churches, we'll be engaging civil society in this practice. And she says her last question is, do we have waste management slogans to use on that day? We are going to be developing that, Beatrice and Defon. Thank you so much. Join us in this initiative. Come with us. Let us all put our heads together and see how we can make this happen. And I'm going to go over to Carlos now. So the question to you, Carlos, and I'll wrap up. And I'm so sorry, I'm kind of rushing everybody. I know we all have busy lives. We've gone over 15 minutes above. So Carlos, just to wrap up, just tell us how you dealt with the waste that was collected during that exercise.
First of all, let me just say 4-5 things quickly. We organized the World Cleanup Day 2022 on time. We carry out a lot of training at local level. Do you know, we organize about 18 different training courses for volunteers in cities and villages preparing the World Cleanup Day. And in those training, we did not also talk about how to organize a cleanup, but also what will happen after the World Cleanup Day. How can we keep the environmental clean? What is, for example, zero waste approachment? What is circular economy? What can we do with organic waste at the local level, at community level? It's very easy. So the idea introduce some simple ideas to implement after the World Cleanup Day. So another important issue, we had several meetings with the Minister of
Hello, my brothers and sisters. No be internet go give we high blood today. Yeah. Just saying that we're going to carry out this campaign in every language that we possibly can. Our vernacular, in Pidgin English, in French, in whatever language you speak. Carlos, are you back on, Carlos? Carlos's internet is still a little wonky. Oh.
And we use it, our volunteers. We cannot go to a. I'm sorry. The connection is not good. The weather here is not good, you know. So after that, it's also important to say that we increase our network in terms of volunteers and organizations. It's very important to involve everybody. We cannot also say, this is Cooperativa Repensar, oh, this is WWF. No. This is our cause. It's better than an individual approachment. Do you know? This is not a matter about Carlos Scherer. No, this is for all the people and for all us. It's good for all. And that happens. And you know, we had 2 million people involved in 2 days, 1 day for the schools, another day for communities. It's important also to say that the governors, the municipalities were also involved. They were there. Do you know? We connect with them. We create a team, including the government authorities, including the municipal authorities and our volunteers. And it's also important to say that we invite the president to say something about World Cleanup Day. And he really said something about that. Do you know, I received a call from Mr. President and he asked me, Carlos, what is happening there? What is actually, is that matter about World Cleanup Day? And it was so nice, do you know, that everybody now are really engaged in this event. So our idea is improve the organization, involving the schools. Actually, the strategic for Mozambique that I can share with you is involve the students, the youngest, the youth in the mobilization, and talk with them that this is not only 1 day, this is about 1 year working. This is about all single day, because we need to clean the environmental, of course, but we need to keep the environmental clean. That's the most important issue. And the first step, the first rule is reduce and, of course, prevent. So I can share with you a presentation later, do you know, with some data, with some points, some elements. And thank you very much. I cannot, I don't want to lose more of your time. Thank you very much, my friends. It was a pleasure to have this meeting with you.
Thank you so much, Carlos, for doing this, for sharing your experience from Mozambique, for mobilizing 2 million people. And here we are drawing inspiration from you to be able to do it in Cameroon. So we really appreciate it, and I hope that our collaboration doesn't end here. It's just beginning. We need your technical support. I want to also thank Gaffo from Nigeria. For I know today is a big day in Nigeria with the elections going on, but you dedicated time to be with us and shared with us some valuable material that I've already shared with the larger group. Thank you so much for that experience, and I hope that you plan to travel to Cameroon, my brother, and be with us on as we embark on this journey. I see that Maimuna from Let's Do It Cameroon is also here. We're going to be collaborating with Maimuna and the team on the ground in Cameroon to make this happen. My appeal to everyone, everybody, that this is not about Are Obenson, this is not about I Am Cameroon, this is about everyone participating in something that's going to make a difference in the lives of people. It will save lives. as we look at the images that have been shared here in Bamenda and all across the country, the impact that it's having, people that are losing their lives, we will turn this around. Even if it's just for one day, we will save a life in one day. We'll save many lives before things come back to their worst state. But we will also ensure, I see all the questions from Beatrice and all the people, those questions are relevant. We need you to be part of the process as we develop the answers. We have 7 months ahead of us to plan for this thing to happen. And every day counts. So, we invite you to share the information. If you're not part of our big WhatsApp group, if you want to join the WhatsApp group, join I'll put my number. If you want to join, or somebody put their numbers so that if you are interested, we will send a message, we'll connect you, join the WhatsApp group. We have over 100 people. We're building that number. We hope that we can get up to 1,000 people in the WhatsApp group as we begin to build this movement, to embark on this initiative to clean up Cameroon. I know that it's as big, it's bold, it's audacious, but that's what we have to do if we need to make a difference. We're running out of time. I wish we could continue this conversation, on and on and on. But it's really important that we respect everybody's time on a Saturday. People have a lot going on. So we're really, really grateful that you took time to spend time, be with us here today. We'll come back in 2 weeks. We'll share more experiences in 2 weeks. We'll bring more experts to share. We'll learn about initiatives that are ongoing, how people are working already on the ground in Cameroon. We'll mobilize other groups to be part of this initiative. This thing will only continue to grow, and everybody is invited to be part of this. So thank you very much. Stay tuned. 2 weeks, we'll be back with really more exciting initiatives and opportunities as we keep working together. So thank you very much.
Allow me, Ari, to just thank our amazing speakers today. I'm sorry, my connection went out as well.
Okay.
I was just saying there are floods in Mozambique. It looks like it's snowing in New York, but I don't think that would be a problem to kick me out of the internet. This one not just Badbele, but those who understand what I'm saying. So we are looking forward to collaborating with you. We're sorry for all the technical glitches that we had. We have a program every fortnight, every 2 weeks. We look forward to having as many people participate, as Ari said, as many people participate in this initiative as we can have. Every voice counts. Thank you, Carlos Shera. I just noticed that your name is Shera, not Zera. So forgive me for mispronouncing that. Thank you, Mr. Odobote. It was very enlightening to have you on the show. We look forward to engaging with you, and we hope you share the slides you just presented to us during the show as we go forward. We are all going to collaborate in this with different stakeholders and governments and churches and kids and schools to make this happen. So thank you so much, everyone. We value your time. It has been a wonderful hour and 20-something minutes spent with you. Bring your questions, call on other people to join us, call on your immediate collective. Let us all make Cameroon the country we want to make it. Let us make our individual communities better. Thank you so much, and we'll see you again in 2 weeks. And have a great Saturday.